Welcome to the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show, a broadcast service of globalbusinessnews.net.
Now, here's your host, Ed Cohen.
This is Ed in San Diego, and you're on Global TV Talk Show. And this is all about guidance TV. So we're calling this Guidance TV Talk Shows. And we're rebranding by subject matter under the umbrella. And then going into a membership subscription mode eventually. We're not there yet. So, Dr. Natalie, welcome from Hamburg, and good evening. So, I wanted to ask you about your newly designed or redesigned LinkedIn page, and I see it's all focusing. Targeting women to step up or step forward, or is that because that's where the money is, or that's because it's just low-hanging fruit, or what?
Neither. It is actually me returning to what I love to do and using even more of my own experience. And even though it says women, I still work with men and youth and all of that. But I think women often juggle a lot and have been pushed into certain situations. So when I work with women at a crossroads, it's really, they have to make a decision right now. Do I continue what I have been doing? Do I change it completely? And sometimes it's just being aware of your choices and then making a conscious choice. So, do you want to continue being a housewife just because right now you're unhappy? Well, maybe actually you do. You've just gotten into this habit because everybody else tells you being a housewife is not good enough. So that's really, I think, where for me, my heart has always been. And now I'm in a position where everything that I'm doing is aligning towards working with women or working with people who just are in need of learning to trust their own intuition and follow their hearts, because we don't do that enough anymore.
So, especially as a result of the pandemic and the lingering ambiguity that we find ourselves in these days.
Right.
We want things to get back to whatever they were, but they're not. And so we're sort of stuck. And that in itself is depressing a lot of people,
Right.
and confusing everybody else. Right? So I don't think anybody is fully cool or adjusted.
Right.
So,
no, and I think that's the key, right? That's really the key. To me, the pandemic, and I was just having a conversation with a friend about this earlier. It was like almost like a call to awaken. And in that call to awaken about what are we doing? What are our values? Who am I living with? Whether you're living alone or with somebody else, it's like all of a sudden we didn't have any distractions. And then some people chose to awaken and take in, who am I living with? What really matters? And others just dug their heads into the sand like the ostrich, and they're now coming back out and everything has changed. The people around them have changed. And so I think it's a fascinating time. And whenever we're in these situations, we have the opportunity. I see it as a great opportunity, a great blessing to reflect and to say, okay, what do I really want? And whenever we do that, we're at a crossroads because we have to make a choice. And I think we can choose to be depressed, we can choose to be scared, or we can choose to look around and say, okay, this is a challenge. I can handle it. I'll take it. And learn from it.
That's motivational to hear you talk that way, but the reality, and that could be a reality for a lot of people, but also I see people are afraid.
Yes.
hanging on, if you will,
Mhm.
to something. And so I see that in, this is my take on it. It's not somebody isn't writing a headline about it. This is just my take.
Right.
Okay. So I'm in the business of marketing, right? And that means finding clients, and not only finding people interested. There's a lot of people interested, tons of, thankfully, but very few have spending authority or capability in this in between era that we're in right now, after lockdowns, restrictions. A lot of people have been vaccinated, and so COVID is a worry rather than a fear uh, for those who have been vaccinated, and a real pain for people who are non-believers because it's everywhere. So I'm finding that people are not making business decisions, and they'll take business when it comes for sure, and do it well, because they haven't been that busy. And now things are picking up dramatically for some, and not at all for others. And I'm finding the decision making at my level is hard to come, and everything's getting delayed, and that's adding to frustration. And so rather than roll over and go back to sleep at 3 a.m., I got up, all right, and started looking at what I didn't do yesterday, and then thinking about things, and then something new comes in. And so, okay, here it is, 10:30 a.m. here, California, and I've already worked the day, and I got a full day in front of me. And after we have this conversation, I'm going to go lie down for a while, but and just get refreshed before we go out for a walk. It's a sunny summer day here, so I'm finding that a lot of people in the business world who I'm in contact with are not as flexible as I am, and yet they don't have, along with that, they don't have operating authority to do things, and they're sort of stuck. Now, some have been very creative, and they've gotten involved in charity work, or they've gotten involved in do-gooder stuff. Some just go out and play golf, so which is not a bad idea. Uh, so, uh, but I don't see women doing that as much. They're just sort of busy with things and their friends, but I just don't see any a lot of new developments going on.
I think you're absolutely right. Okay? I think there is the worry, there is the not knowing. And part of the not knowing is connected in this instance to COVID, and to, is there going to be a next wave? What if my colleague, or what if the other person that I'm doing business with is going to get COVID? Am I going to get it? Are we going to open up our offices again? So I think a lot of, when it comes to decision makers, they're not sure how things are going to work out. And so they have to hold on to everything. What if people don't come back to work for another 6 months, 12 months? Or do we completely re-strategize our offices, our management, and have people work more from home. What does that mean? Do we need to invest in buying them equipment? So I think you're absolutely right. A lot of decision makers are holding on to the money right now because they don't know. And those decision makers normally thrive on making decisions, saying, hey, I don't know if this is going to work out with Ed, but he's been a good, loyal friend. So let's give it a shot for 3 months, right? Now they're like, well, I trust Ed. I know he's reliable. He's always been there, but I don't know if I can spend that money right now. So I think they're really caught in that, and that is very frustrating to them because they're trying to operate within a system that is really not going to be sustainable much longer because everything has been shifting, but they need to adjust with it somehow. And in that lies the frustration, lies the, I'm just going to go golfing and hit the ball really hard because that's how I get my aggression out. That happens, I think, to a lot of people. I absolutely agree. The way that I believe people can deal with it a little more in a positive light is if they have that, and you have that, it's that inner knowing that somehow you're going to be okay. You may not know how, but you just know it's all going to work out. It feels right. I'm okay. I can handle whatever life is going to bring. Without that knowledge, if you are defined by a job, if you're defined by a role, you don't have that as much. And I think those are the people right now that we really need to reach out to be able to help them say, you're not your job, you're actually an amazing person. So trust that you can handle everything. And that's not easy because for years we've been trained to identify ourselves through our jobs, not through who we really are on the inside. So now we're asking all of that paradigm to shift again. And that's not easy. I think the other piece is on a more marketing or business level, right? There are a lot of shows out there right now, a lot of events, everybody's doing lives and all of that. So there is a question about value to some people. And that means they're not very well educated. Sorry, they're not very well educated in what marketing really means and what reaching people really means. There's a difference between doing a LinkedIn or a Facebook or an Instagram live and having a show that is global, that is then has a huge following on YouTube and on other channels, and reaches people not just today, but throughout time and space. And that's, of course, what you provide. I mean, you do the advertising, you invite people, you share it everywhere. The reach and the viewership that you, of course, have, and you have the data for it, is much broader than that. So it's that discrepancy between, oh, everybody's doing a live right now, and this is a real marketing opportunity. Understanding that difference, I think, partially because of COVID needs some education.
So in my previous world, it still is, but you go to meetings to meet people, and the idea is getting on a plane or driving to a thing and walking into a convention center or a hotel room and seeing people around, name tags. It looks familiar, but I can't remember who they are. It's been too long. And so, boy, is that you? It doesn't look like you, but you can't say that. So,
yeah, no, don't say that. What happened?
So the whole thing, I've been invited to go to an Orlando meeting with 1,000 people. Usually it's 5,000, but there's only going to be 1,000. And then there's this other meeting in Chicago that I was invited to, and there's usually 3,000, but now I don't know, they'll struggle to have 1,000, but and there's some meetings right here in Southern California, and I don't want to go. I mean, the whole idea of driving someplace and then sitting someplace and striking up a conversation, and then, hey, some good things may happen from it. But as opposed to working what I've been doing the past 18, 19 months, collapsing time and space and distance, and intelligently developing a relationship like this. There's nothing wrong with it. You just have to learn to trust it and to be as personable as possible across this medium, and then follow through, and then somehow get the order, get paid. So you can't get paid unless you have the trust built, and the trust comes from communicating whatever and however. So I've decided to not go to these meetings. I was supposed to go to a meeting today. I'm not going to go to it. I have to drive 60 to 90 minutes each way, and it'd be a nice place, but I'm just not up for it. So I'm not going to do it. And so I still have the challenge to meet my financial goals, and wondering if getting in the car, going there, that's not marketing. That's a lot of work and time and money. And the idea of being here for the past 6 or 7 hours and then looking at the rest of the day, I could do a lot more just being right here if I was smart enough to handle it right. So that's like a dilemma that I see, because I've tried to put together a live meeting here in San Diego, and I got some interest about showing up, but I got much more interest about doing Zoom, because people don't want to go down the street. They just would rather not. Sure, they want to go and be with people and have fun and do the same old thing because it makes you feel as if you're doing something, and a continuation of what you've trained for. Nobody's trained to do Zooms, or at least not in my age bracket. So it's a matter of, I think, being smarter, and it's not going back to the old, and it's not a new normal. There's no such thing, but there's a new reality. And I think that's the word, new reality.
And it's interesting because, like you said, there are a lot of people who feel that way. To me, there's always an and, right? And I'm going to come right out and say it. I'm not enjoying big networking meetings. Never have, never will, right? And the things that you were saying, well, I have to drive 60 minutes. When I had to, when I was invited or somebody told me I should go to a networking meeting, just the term networking just has me like, and I know they're important, but I would really have to gather all of my strength and go, okay, you can do this. And every time, even before COVID, I was like, and then afterwards I was exhausted.
Right.
And because they used to be run a very specific way, and there still are. So to me, knowing that about myself, I still go, I'm very good at networking, but not in big groups, So if there's a small meeting, and that's probably because I'm intuitive, so I get like bombarded with all sorts of stuff when I get into a meeting, and everybody does to some degree. Once you ask yourself the question, is it really worth it? I think there are two sides to that story. Number one, are you just worried and don't want to leave the house? Or number two, do you really don't like networking? Whatever your answer is, okay? I think there's always an and, because there is a little bit of a difference when you meet people in person. Okay. You can, in my language, you can feel the energy better. You can, I know we're not supposed to do this right now. You can shake a hand, you can give a hug, right? So there is a little bit of a different connection. That's a given. And you can do some of that both ways. So a networking meeting or a big meeting conference, they can do hybrid right now. Okay. Where those people who need that face-to-face or who want to have the option of face-to-face go there, and the other ones are on a big screen. You know, you do a Zoom, you do a StreamYard, you do a, I don't know, ODP something, something, something. I think we are now in a world, and you've been fantastic in making that shift, right? From the events that you were organizing across different countries, and they were always powerful. You have broadened your reach so much through this medium that you talk to people in Australia and in Russia, in I don't know, Shanghai, all the time. You're bringing the world home. And by that,
Thank you.
we ask ourselves the question, do I still need to leave home if I can bring it right here? It's almost like the TV used to be our escape, right? Now we don't watch TV anymore because of all bad news. So Zoom allows us to bring the world to us, which is fantastic. And I think because we still have so many unknown things, the hybrid option right now is the best way to go. Because some people need to be around other people. I don't necessarily, but I know people who have like shriveled during COVID because they couldn't see anything. And so, you know, I think hybrid right now is the way to go to accommodate everybody. And then once we know a little bit more, I think people will be more eager to go back out to make that physical reconnection.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Ed, and I thank you for tuning in to Global TV Talk Show, a unit on globalbusinessnews.net. We broadcast to the world, as you know by now. So I wanted to make sure that you understand that our programs are advertising supported. We're grateful for co-sponsors, advertisers. They have a marketing budget coupled with a strong desire to be associated with our top quality program. And of course, I'm grateful. Thank you. So for the next few minutes, you're going to see some commercials. It's mostly very low key, and our prices are very, very reasonable. Our exposure for the advertisers go 12 months and beyond. Some of our advertisers have been with us since March, April of 2020. And Google Analytics has tracked over 125,000 what they call audience page views, which means you looking at this page, that's a page view. Now, if you happen to go to one of our other shows or to our radio broadcasts or to our newspaper or magazine, those become additional page views as measured by Google Analytics. And so when they say 125,000 since spring of 2020 up through Labor Day, a month ago, that's pretty good numbers. And the past 30 days, Google Analytics has measured just under 6,000 audience page views. And that, according to them, is a 42% increase in audience participation over the month of August. So thank you very much. Well, here's our advertisers, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes or so, and we'll proceed with this interesting conversation. Thank you.
This episode from the meeting room of Global TV Talk Show is brought to you by
The Bridge School, the accredited international online private school of choice, at bridgek12.org.
Porch-like rental and destination services. Reduce your renter lump sum or managed relocation costs. Visit them at porchlikerental.com.
And by heirs.com. With our full range of services, we can help design and manage your international relocation. Find us at heirs.com.
Primestone Partners, featuring corporate, government, and developer housing solutions, as well as senior-level advisory services. Find them at primestonepartners.com.
And by International Auto Source. We are the vehicle experts for expats, featuring all major brands of automobiles with flexible solutions and financing. On the web at intlauto.com.
Become a global player in your field.
Cross Culture to Go provides virtual support for your global business and career success.
We can help you thrive in 140 plus countries and markets.
On the web at crossculturetogo.com.
Something that's really neat is that the Bridge School partners with various organizations to provide learning for their students. For example, we partner with a major ballet company, and we are able to enroll several of their students into our school. So now not only is the student able to participate in a school and have a seamless transition while they're very active in their ballet career, but now they have other dancers that are with them that are doing some of the same courses. So it's almost becoming a camaraderie where they're taking similar courses, they're working together on their ballet, and really being able to form this great partnership with these organizations to provide a needed service. A lot of times there are student athletes who will spend hours and hours at the gym or at the basketball courts, wherever it is. And if they're attending a traditional school, they're in school from 8 to 3. They get a quick snack, and then they're at the gym for 3 to 4 hours in the evening. Coming to us and having that partnership, they're able to break that up throughout the day. They can have a morning practice, get some schooling in, have an afternoon practice, finish their schooling in the evening. So there's that flexibility. And additionally, if there are tournaments or performances, it's fantastic because if there's a week where they have shows straight through, they can take that week off of learning and then pick back up when they're done. So it offers this great flexibility. And for the program owners of these sports leagues, it is a win-win situation for them because they see this need. They see this need that their students need to make sure that they are obtaining the grades necessary to be successful adults in our country and in other countries. But it provides them an environment where they can be successful at both.
Hi, I'm Sergey Gorbatov.
I'm Angela Lane.
Together we're researchers, writers and practitioners in the field of human resources.
And we've also been multi-country, multi-assignment career expats.
We owe our professional development and growth to a very large extent to the international assignment opportunities that we have had.
But in a world where distributed work may become the norm, we also want to understand what will happen to the nature, duration, and purpose of international assignments.
Together with our colleague, Julian Dalzell from the University of South Carolina, we're undertaking a study on the future of expatriation.
And we'd value your contribution. You can participate in this important study by completing a simple 10-minute questionnaire.
Access the questionnaire by typing in your browser tinyurl.com/expert study. That's tinyurl.com/expert study. You can also find the link here on Ed's website next to this video.
Thank you for joining us in this study. In return for your contribution, we'll provide you with a copy of our research.
And of course, you'll be invited to an exclusive webinar hosted by Ed, where we will share our findings right here on Global Business News.
And so please go to tinyurl.com/expat study. Take the survey so that we can better understand the future of expatriation.
So let's change the subject and just focus for a few minutes before we close about coming home, like your personal story right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you grew up in Hamburg, but it's been years, and you've morphed into an American thing, and now you're going back, and not, but now you're global, and yet you're still doing the LA Tribune and other things. So how do you see change?
I love change.
Motivated.
I think it keeps us learning, and I love to learn. And since I see my life as learning lessons all the time, I love change. I don't like doing the same routine every day. When I was teaching college, even though I may have been teaching, the same subject matter, every class was different. They may have read all the same chapter, but every class was a little different. I can't do the same thing because the people in the room aren't the same. I'm not the same. I'm not the same I am now from 5 minutes ago. So change to me keeps me on my toes, keeps me grounded, keeps me learning and evolving. Which doesn't mean that change is not challenging. It is. It is absolutely always challenging. And I think therefore, partially going back to what we're talking about in the beginning, I have come to know who I am and I know what I can handle. So therefore, life, bring it on, because you're bringing it on for me, not to me, but for me. And I know I can handle it. I also have a support system that helps me handle it. So coming home for me, it's an interesting phrase. I've always said that Hamburg would be my home. Spiritually speaking, my home is elsewhere. I've always been a global person. When people ask me, what are you? Like on the little forms and stuff, I'd write down human. It's like human, like, what do you think I am? I'm human, So I've always been able to do that. And I'm very grateful for it. One of the other things that I've always done is I will go in. I was just talking about that earlier. I go in someplace, whether it's, a business, a relationship, whatever it is. I go in and I work my magic, or I am who I am. And I do what I can. And once it's done, and I leave. And that's why people started telling me that I'm a revolutionary, because I don't stick around once I'm done. It's like, okay, I'm done. Good. Let's change it up. And I've done that with so many companies and other things. It's like, it's done. At some point, I just know it's done. And so having been in the United States was very, very important for me, because I studied it as a student. And I had this idea, and Germany, World War II, everybody was like, oh, the United States. So we were all like, hey. And so I had this dream, and then I was living there. And I ended up enjoying it initially. The last 5 years professionally were amazing. Everything started to develop. So it was kind of stupid for me to leave, but everything started to develop. But I was suffocating on the inside. And so I finally realized I'm done. It doesn't mean I'll never come back, but I'm done with where I was in the United States. And of course, this time around, I have a child, so that makes it a little more difficult to make that change situation really go well. but she's adjusting very well, as just like me. And so I
Great.
think it's that once you know you're done, you got to honor that. And everybody that I've talked to since I've been here, there's like a lot going on. If you've ever gone to a different country, especially a bureaucratic country like Germany, there's a lot of paperwork to fill out. I mean, a lot, and a lot of government offices you have to go to. And yet, so that's all happening. And it's not always fun to stand in line and wait, especially with COVID, But everybody I've talked to since I've gotten here, 8 weeks ago, has been saying that I look happier, that I sound more energetic. And that tells me something. It tells me that I was right, number one. But it also tells me that, yes, this is where I need to be right now.
Yeah. Who knows what will be in 2 years? So
exactly.
And I'm not going to think about it. It's right now. So when I do a hybrid meeting in Europe, I'm going to go to London, but also I'd like to come to Hamburg, and I want you to partner with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've already talked about that. You tell me when and where, and we'll make it happen.
Well, it'll probably be in the spring,
Okay.
but maybe April. I know.
All right. Okay. Don't make it the first April.
No, no, but I don't want to go in the winter because it's too nasty. And, I know April will be rainy, but it won't be cold. And so, and people want to go out, Yeah. So, I'm thinking of that. I've done meetings in the past in Frankfurt, a lot of meetings in Frankfurt, and I could always do that. But, and there's more right there. But how long does it take by train from Hamburg to Frankfurt?
Probably about 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Really? Yeah. So it's about 400 or 500 miles then. Yeah. About.
Kilometers. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it needs to be its own meeting, as opposed to thinking people from Frankfurt will come.
Well, I wouldn't go that far because, we do fly as well here. There are a lot of flights for business people from Hamburg to Frankfurt every day. And that's about a half-hour flight.
Yeah, so it's easy.
So, it is very easy. And I mean, the reason why, Frankfurt is nice. It's in the middle of Germany, but Hamburg is the media city of Germany. So if you want media, if you want to be in the city where all of the major publications are from Germany, then this is the place to go.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So we'll talk about that as we think about it more. I was thinking of London, Paris, April in Paris, but and then one other. I was thinking Switzerland or Italy, but not necessarily. So
I got some people in Spain. I know some people in Spain. So.
Yeah, Madrid. Yeah. So that would be nice. So I've really enjoyed speaking with you. Just getting to keeping up our relationship and touching base with you after a relocation, and I like the things that we talked about, and I think that our audience will enjoy the continuation of this relationship.
Absolutely. And I think, I liked when you started out by saying guidance. I think that's a very cool way to present some of the things that all of your guests talk about.
Guidance TV.
Yeah, I like it.
So think about another topic that we could do next week or the week after, or for 20, 30 minutes under that idea of guidance. What kind of guidance?
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Ciao.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, well, have a great day. Bye.
Thank you for joining us in the meeting room at Global TV Talk Show.
Have a wonderful day, and stay safe.